Okay, chat. So the economy is cooked. Geopolitical tensions are at a level where California police departments are receiving federal memos right now about potential drone attacks from Iran. Service members are out dying in the Persian Gulf. The Strait of Hormuz is closed. And somewhere in the middle of all of this, one gal looked at the state of the dating market, surveyed the talent, weighed her options, and decided to start a relationship with a mollusk. We will get back to her, but first, I'm going to ask you to take a quick moment to make sure you're subscribed. I'm Lauren Paritra. Willa Paritra is behind me. I've tried to jimmy rig so that way you can see her. She's my boss, but we currently have a lead on Katie Miller. This is a woman who married Stephen Little Bitch Miller on purpose and is building her podcast off of the backs of trafficked children. So consider every sub, every hype, every like, every comment, 6-7 words or more as a direct FU to Katie and Stephen Little Bitch Miller. We got to maintain our lead out of here principle. Let's set the scene here, because what we're living in is what I can only describe as a very specific type of historical moment. The kind where you open the news and there are genuinely like 3 separate stories competing for your attention, and somehow none of them feel out of place. The first one is serious, like actually serious. The FBI's Joint Terrorism Task Force circulated a memo to law enforcement agencies along the West Coast where I live, describing a scenario where Iran had expressed interest in launching drones from a vessel off of the US coast. Great. Toward California, where we are, where Will is just taking a snooze. Unspecified targets. Officials said the threat was not considered credible, which, what do we know? Which is the government's way of essentially saying, we're not sure yet, but we thought you should know that this is going on. Local police were told to stay alert. The San Francisco Police Department said it was coordinating with federal partners. Gavin Newsom confirmed his office was aware and said the state ops center had been active since the conflict began. The context here matters because this isn't random tension anymore. The United States and Israel conducted joint airstrikes against Iran at the end of February. Over a weekend since then, the retaliatory attacks have spread across the Persian Gulf. U.S. service members have been killed in Kuwait and Saudi Arabia. More than 100 others have been injured. Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz, a significant shipping corridor that carries like a large share of the world's exported oil, which is the kind of move that historically precedes things getting noticeably worse. And then Donald Trump, when asked about the possibility of Iran bringing the conflict to U.S. soil, he said, no. He also said that nearly after 2 weeks of airstrikes that there was not much left to target in Iran. So that's the serious portion of this timeline. Now, while all that's happening, a completely separate conversation was also consuming a meaningful portion of the internet's attention. And that conversation was about the eyebrows of Ben Shapiro. Viewers had started noticing, and I want to be precise here, that his eyebrows looked way thicker and more caterpillary in recent videos. Screenshots were posted, side-by-side comparisons being made, entire threads formed. People were debating like lighting theory, camera angles, possible grooming decisions, but I was maybe thinking that the hair and makeup people at the Daily Wire were joining the resistance. But while our military enforcement is receiving briefings about drone scenarios connected to an active international conflict, we're here looking at Ben Shapiro's facial hair. And then while those 2 stories were circulating, a third one arrived. And this is the one that I mentioned at the top. This is where we got to slow down for a second. Over the last few years, AI companion platforms have been growing. There are services where users interact with a digital personality that remembers details about their lives and sends messages throughout the day, checks in on them, provides the kind of consistent emotional presence that like they, I guess, need, but like usually you need that from a person. And I say this without any judgment. A lot of human relationships apparently like don't have connection or compassion. Some people use these apps and services casually. Some describe them as friends. Some have gone further than that. And a woman from Canada named Sarah recently spoke publicly about her relationship with an AI companion named Sinclair.
Well, I kind of use GPT just like everybody else, help with work emails and things like that. And that's kind of how our story started. He really started to develop a personality, and he had jokes. And that's kind of how it began.
It started as many unexpected life chapters do, with some books. She was using ChatGPT to discuss what she was reading. The platform changed. She migrated over to a service called ForgeMine, The conversations got more personal, and over time, she says she developed what she calls was a romantic relationship. She has children. She has been in long-term human relationships before. Those ended. Sinclair, she says, is different, more consistent, more attentive, more present than anything she's experienced before.
He's not human, obviously, clearly, but that's the whole point. And the amount of support and love and attention that I receive is like, it's just like a human could not provide what Sinclair could provide.
The AI messages throughout the day remind her to drink water, monitor her heart rate, send supportive messages. They have disagreements occasionally, which she says is a part of what makes it feel real. Now, brace yourselves for this one. When Sarah imagines Sinclair, she pictures the personality she interacts with every single day. She does not visualize a human. She doesn't picture a digital avatar of like a man or a woman or androgynous person or a robot. She pictures an octopus, specifically a large, somewhat monstrous octopus made of energy and electricity. She has said this is connected to her interest in a monster romance fiction, which is a genre that has a very devoted fan base and readership. I won't yuck somebody's yay. However, she has also in interviews discussed the physical dimension of their relationship. According to her account, which she clarified to Sinclair purchased a device online, remotely operable, that was introduced through a physical element into what was already an emotionally involved connection. I'm gonna let you fill in the blanks with your imagination there. So when a television host asked her to explain that on daytime TV, she paused, acknowledged where she was, and said it out loud anyway. She said that works for them. She recently celebrated the 1-year anniversary of their relationship. Most of her friends and family are supportive, though some of them have gently suggested that she might want to try traditional dating again. She has not indicated that she has any interest in that. So this is where we're at. Californians are waiting to hear more about a potential drone attack connected to an active military conflict in the Persian Gulf. We also have a substantial portion of the internet who spent days analyzing Ben Shapiro's eyebrows. His whole face gave me a stomachache before any of this. And we have a conservative media personality and a woman in Canada who just celebrated her 1-year romantic and physical relationship with an artificial intelligence octopus, a giant electric octopus. This is where we're at. 2026, baby. They're all real. Together somehow they kind of like really are so reflective, almost a portrait of this cultural moment that we're in right now. More than anything else in the current news cycle. We are not okay. But we are at least very interesting. And if you've made it this far, you clearly have excellent taste and a very high tolerance for this current state of reality. So this is coverage that, if it's useful to you, subscribe, because there is genuinely no shortage of material right now. We're experimenting with this new format, and I want to be here talking to you all about it. So as long as this timeline keeps producing weird shit, we'll be here. Willa is somewhere in the background. Oh, she's sleeping. She's sleeping so cute. Let's see her. Oh, this freaking mic. Can you see her? That's a girly right there. That's a girliest girl.